Ciaran and Jude, wow, what an exquisite and special film you have in Belfast.
That's very
Thank you
nice
very
to hear.
much.
Ciaran, I heard you say that the film opened up huge things in my heart. What did it open up for you?
I guess memories of a time that were before we've all gone into this kind of technological era that you frantically try to keep up with things. It was a more I found a more community spirited life that time in the 60s, despite the difficult times. And I think that's what Ken has represented in the film. That idea of it's not just us at the heart of a family, but it's the heart of the community and how that support, and especially when difficult economic times as well, that support that everybody gave. And I think he captured that magnificently. And it just reminded me of the spirit and the soul of the people of Belfast.
Yeah. Jude, everyone was incredible in this, but wow, you were phenomenal. How does someone who was thinking about going into software engineering end up auditioning for this film, beating out 300 other boys and getting the part?
Well, it all started off with a single self-tape from my drama teacher, and that turned into a lot of callbacks on Zoom, and the last two actually being in real life with Sir Kenneth Branagh. And meeting him was just a dream come true, to be honest. He's just so nice, and you can always sit down and just have a nice chat with him.
Jude, how do you keep it together though during all those auditions? Like, one is nerve-wracking enough, but you have to go through multiple to get that part.
Well, it was just, I was thinking of how cool it would be to act in a film at the end. So patience is key. So I waited out through all of those different callbacks. And each and every callback, I just enjoyed so much. And yeah, I just loved meeting everyone on those callbacks and seeing all the other contestants.
Ciaran, I loved you as Pa, and you've said that as soon as I put the costume on, it had an extraordinary effect on me. What happened when you got into that costume?
Sorry, I'm just trying to get over the software engineering idea that we would have lost this young man to software engineering. I'm so glad we didn't, because
Me too.
he is very special. I think when Charlotte Walter, who was the costume designer, and you meet separately, and it was the times of COVID, we were all masked up and taking great care. And she suddenly started choosing colors for me, and kind of old knitwear that we would think is old-fashioned, etc., etc. But as they came together, I was suddenly put in mind of two people. One was my father when he was in his late 60s, and one of and my mother's father, my grandfather. It was almost the same kind of style that they wore. And of course, I think when we wear clothes, our style is set when we were 30 or something. We don't, well, in those days, you didn't change. That was what you were. And it was very strange because Charlotte would have no idea of my parentage or anything like that. And yet, for some reason, she managed to come up with almost not just the colors, but the kind of cable wear on the knit and stuff like that. It was kind of magic.
Okay, I just got chills
Okay.
hearing that. As I got chills throughout the whole film, and then at the end where I was like, okay, I'm a mess. And then the dedication comes up and I have completely lost it. The dedication is for the ones who stayed, for the ones who left, and for all those who were lost. Ciaran, you left. What was that decision like for you, having to leave? And do you ever really leave?
Well, we have a feeling in Ireland, you leave, or people sometimes desperate to get out of a place where they're born, or people leave involuntarily because of circumstances. I mean, I left for the reason I probably wouldn't have left, but I wanted to train as a theatre actor, and there were no theatre schools in Ireland. So I left Ireland, Northern Ireland, and I went to London. So that, in that way, I wasn't leaving. I was going to a direction that I needed to. But what's interesting is that when we talk about home and people ask you, where's your home? And you could say Battersea or Paris, but that's where the family are. But the home is always from where you were born, really. And that's what, funny enough, keeps tickling us through, certainly me, through my entire life.
Yeah. Jude, goodbyes are tough, aren't they? Especially when it's your last day on set. How did you deal with that goodbye?
Well, as soon as I arrived on set for the last, nearly everyone was an emotional wreck. We were all crying, and it was just the idea of it, like leaving all of these people that I'd spent so much time with and have bonded together like a family. It was just, I was bawling my tears out by the end of the day.
You were bawling at the end, which is totally understandable because, as I said, I was bawling at the end of this film. When you sat and watched this film and saw what you all did together as a cast, how did it make you feel the very first time you saw it, Jude?
Well, the first time I ever saw the film was an uncut version of the film, meaning that a lot of the sound wasn't completely finished, but even like the unfinished version, just we were all crying by the end of it and having tissues in our hands. And yeah, at the end of the uncut version, actually, there was a little reel of the things that didn't make it into the film, like the tripe and the pig's trotters and all of those scenes that didn't get to make it in. And watching those, just even seeing that tripe again, just made me yuck.
Yeah, there's things you don't want to do again. Ciaran, how did you feel watching this? And why do you think a film that is so typically Irish has resonated with all of us around the world?
I think it resonates because it's Kenneth made it very specific. And I think once you are specific and where you locate it, the story you want to tell, it then in some way it becomes universal because everybody has a version of that life, depending on wherever they live. There are many different versions, and Ken has been at film festivals and screenings where people from Asia, from Africa, have come to him and said, "That's my story. It's happened to me and my family, different versions of, but more or less the same thing." And that's why, in his specificity, he's actually gone out there and touched in a much more general way. And I think, what was the other part of the question?
How did you feel after you watched it?
Oh yeah, that's right. The first time I saw it, I was working away, and they set up a screening for me, and I saw it with one other person, and I recognized that Ken had made a beautiful film. I mean, absolutely beautiful, technically, artistically, and the spirit of the family that we were always managed to come out, and that was grand. I was trying to watch it objectively as I could, and then the next time I saw it was with 2,000 people. So the experience, and that's why I would recommend people to go to the cinema to see this, because it does genuinely become a collective experience. I mean, you can see that it's a really well-made film and there's a huge amount of heart in it. But when you sit with other people, strangers that you come in, and suddenly your hearts are all beating to the same rhythm, and you're starting to feel the same thing. And that's what great stories do. They harness us all, and it shows our own humanity.
Just bring a lot of tissues and maybe don't leave straight away. Give yourself some time to compose yourself.
But that being said, there's a lot of fun in it as well, isn't there? There's a lot of humor. It's a beautiful mix.
Completely. Jude, final question. Yes or no answer. This is not your final role, is it? We're going to have more of you, yeah?
Hopefully, yes. I want to try go down the acting path, and Belfast has laid out the path. Now it's up to me to pave it.
Oh, well, cannot wait to see where that path takes you. And Ciaran, can't wait to see what you do next. In the meantime, thank you both for Belfast. Can't go on about it enough.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.